We're going to get you to use one of those.
Okay.
Thanks. Can you hear me? Sort of? Okay. I don't like microphones. This is my first time with a megaphone. We'll see how this goes. I just want to thank Mr. John Maples for organizing this today. I appreciate all the effort he has put into this. This is a great event. It was an honor to be invited to speak with people, patriots such as Senator Dom and Mr. Lohmeyer. I'm thrilled to be here. Today is an opportunity for us to have an open discussion of ideas. If you think that you're in a safe place where you will not hear any kind of disturbing ideas, you're in the wrong place. If you think that if you're afraid to hear an alternative point of view, you're in the wrong place. Now think back with me. Do you remember being told that if you just stay home for 2 weeks, that we're going to flatten the curve? Was that ever true? No. It was a lie from the beginning. The never-ending shutdowns, the restrictions, were always the plan, because the never-ending shutdowns and the restrictions were always the end goal, never to prevent disease. So how do we know this the next time? How can we be prepared next time to know if we're being lied to? Do you remember being told that if we do nothing, 2.2 million people will die? Was that ever true? No. Do you remember Flip-Flop Fauci saying, you should not wear the mask, it's ineffective? Oh, you should wear the mask. No, 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 double masking, that is common sense. Does science really change like that? Do you remember being told that the vaccine would make a way for us to return to normal? Just get the jab, lose the mask. But wait, not just one jab, put the mask back on. Even in defiance of Oklahoma law, school boards are flipping out and pushing masks on children. A year and a half of free jabs available to everyone, and the jab is still not enough. We must keep our masks. We must continue to avoid contact. We do not visit grandma. You can't even visit your friends in the hospital here in Bartlesville, and even if you are fully vaccinated. And what does fully vaccinated mean? Is it 2 jabs? Or is it 2 jabs plus a booster? Or 3 or 4? Folks, I'm here to tell you, you will never be fully vaccinated. They will continue to move the goalposts. And why will they do this? Because preventing the disease is not the goal. The never-ending, always changing, eternal compliance is the goal. And how do I know this? How long ago was it that people hijacked airplanes and flew them into buildings? 20 years. We just celebrated the 20th anniversary. And yet 20 years later, we are still removing our shoes and our belts to board an airplane. The restrictions will never go away. We are in a condition of perpetual war, perpetual emergency, the perpetual oppression of 330 million people who have never and will never hijack an airplane. All such government restrictions are always eternal, because that is the nature of government. Let that sink in. The crisis is not the focus. Whatever the crisis, it is just a convenient excuse for more government intrusion in your life. Always. So how do you know that when you're being lied to from the very first moment? How do you know that compliance for 2 weeks is not reasonable? The reason you know that the COVID mandate was a lie was that socialism is always a lie. No matter what form socialism takes, no matter where socialism is tried, socialism is the lie. If socialism is the answer, the question is a lie. Socialism has never been the answer to any problem in the history of mankind. Socialism is the problem. If socialist mandates are proposed to stop the spread of infectious disease, we already know that the crisis is a lie. Socialism is never the answer to any question, and that is a fundamental truth. There is only one question to which socialism might be the answer, and that is, what is the best way to oppress the most people with the least amount of effort? The moment we were told to stay home for 2 weeks, the greatest threat to our nation and to the individual citizen changed. No longer was it this virus that might kill much of our population. The greatest threat to our nation at that time was tyranny. And tyranny must be restrained no matter the crisis. If we are suffering under absolute despotism, it is our right, and not only our right, it is our duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for our future security. In the United States, government has no power enumerated to enforce your health practices. It does not exist, nor should it. Government of all agencies on earth is the least qualified to determine your own good. Only you are qualified to determine your own good. So if government has no legal power in America to force your health practices, how and why is government attempting to do exactly that? Ladies and gentlemen, it is the intrinsic nature of all government to seek and to wield power over, yet ever more power over the individual. But in America, sovereignty proceeds from the people to the government. Government is able to arrogate more power unto itself only so long as you, the individual citizen, permits it. The last year and a half demonstrates conclusively that the time is long past to sit idly by, watching your freedoms and your sovereignty over self be chipped away. The last 6 months demonstrate even our American representative government believes it is now sovereign over your very blood. You own your bloodstream. You own your human face. You own your breath and how you will inhale and exhale. You own your body and nobody else. You own your body. Nobody else owns your body. Government, constitutionally limited representative government, is able to wield power over you only so long as you permit it. In a representative republic, you have the ultimate say. But you must stand up on your hind legs and say it. You must hold your government's feet to the fire. You must bring your government to heel. You must insist correctly, morally, and constitutionally that government shall be your servant and never your master. But how do you do this when your government is so powerful and you are just one person? I propose an end run around the deeply entrenched swamp of power by going directly to the people, by grassroots effort. Yes, show up to your school board meetings. Yes, show up to your city council meetings. Make your voice heard in defense of individual liberty. Yes, enough. Judges invalidate laws passed overwhelmingly by your elected representatives. School boards impose illegal mask mandates irrespective of the law. City councils still restrict your freedom irrespective of your protests. So what do? Well, what is needed is that you throw the bums out. If a judge legislated from the bench to invalidate a law passed by your representatives, throw the bomb out. Urge your representatives to impeach her. If the school board imposes mask mandates over your protests in violation of state law, throw the bombs out. You run for school board. You run and you moderate school policy in the defense of liberty. If your city council requires compliance in exchange for freedom, throw the bombs out. You run for city council. You moderate your city in defense of liberty. If your representative refuses to uphold the Constitution to which he took a solemn oath, throw the bomb out. You run for state or federal office to defend liberty by bringing the government back into its strict constitutional limits. Now here's the crucial point. Even if you do not win merely by running a grassroots campaign, you can influence government for good. Just by running, just by debating, just by going door to door and talking to people, you can move and shape the argument and reach a far wider audience than you can by staying home. Stand up for yourself, stand up for your family, make an end run around entrenched power by giving full voice to ordinary human beings. Stand up to represent the individual human being, not businesses, not lobbyists, not special interest groups. Businesses and other groups have paid lobbyists working on their behalf. Citizens have only their elected representatives. So run to represent the individual citizen. Stand up for individual liberty, and you can, by your effort, tip the balance away from entrenched deep state. Now, as you take a stand, just expect that the establishment will attack your character. They will attempt to make you look the fool. They have to, because that's all they have. Now, more than any time in our history since the Civil War, our very American liberty is at stake. For the sake of our nation, for the sake of our children, do not sit idly by as the socialist state robs your children of their future and disrespects the blood of our patriots. Now, let us resolve immovably that this government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Now more than ever, let us resolve together to preserve the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. I thank you very much for your attention.